Imagine it is Saturday morning. You wake up with a surge of energy. You look at your calendar and you tell yourself, today is the day. Today, I am going to be a hero. You make a giant cup of coffee, you stack 3 heavy English textbooks on your desk, you turn off your phone, you say, I am going to study English for 5 hours straight. I am going to fix my life today. You feel powerful. You feel disciplined. But fast forward to next Saturday, and you don't even want to look at the book. You feel tired just thinking about it. Why does this happen? Why does trying so hard actually make you fail? Today, we are going to fix this. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Today, we need to talk about a trap. It is a trap that almost every language learner falls into. It is the belief that more is better. We think that if studying for 10 minutes is good, then studying for 10 hours must be 100 times better. We treat our brains like machines. We think we can just pour information into them like we are filling a hard drive. But your brain is not a machine. Your brain is a biological system, and biology has rules. If you break these rules, you don't just stop learning. You actually start to damage your progress. Today, I want to explain why short, focused sessions beat long, exhausting marathons every single time. And I don't just want to tell you that it works. I want to explain why it works deep inside your mind. The famous study less, study smart concept. There is a famous concept often discussed in psychology called study less, study smart. This idea changed how successful students approach their work. The core of this philosophy is simple. Effectiveness is not about duration, it is about intensity and focus. Many of you believe that if you study for 3 hours on a Sunday, you're a serious student. You think, I am suffering, so I must be learning. But in real life, suffering is not the same as learning. In fact, usually when the suffering starts, the learning stops. Let me tell you a story that might sound familiar. You sit down to study. The first 10 minutes, they feel great. You're fresh, your eyes are wide open. You read a sentence and you understand it immediately. You listen to a podcast and the words flow into your mind effortlessly. Then you hit the 20-minute mark. Still good, you're cruising. But then you hit 30 minutes, or maybe 45. Something subtle starts to shift. It isn't a dramatic explosion, it's quiet. Your eyes are still moving across the page, but your brain has stopped following them. You read a paragraph, and then you realize you have no idea what you just read. So you read it again and again. You check your phone for just a second. You start thinking about lunch. You start thinking about an email you need to send. Your body is still in the chair. Your book is still open. To anyone looking at you, you look like the perfect student, but the learning has left the building. This is the dangerous moment. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They push. They think, I promised myself I would do 3 hours. If I stop now, I am weak. If I stop now, I am lazy. So you force yourself. You drag your brain through the mud for another 2 hours. You finish your session and you close the book with a heavy sigh. You say, I did it. I studied for 3 hours. You feel proud. But this is what I call fake progress. Because what actually happened in those last 2 hours? Your brain was in survival mode. When the brain is tired and stressed, it closes its doors. It stops creating new memory pathways. It stops connecting new words to old ideas. You spent energy, yes. You spent time, yes, but you did not buy any new fluency with that time. You were just looking busy. But there's a bigger problem than just wasting time. The real danger of long sessions is something invisible. It's called pressure. Pressure is the enemy of language learning. When you decide, I must study for 2 hours every day, you create a massive mountain that you have to climb every morning. When you wake up, you feel this weight on your shoulders. You think, oh no, I have to find 2 hours today. I have to have perfect energy today. This expectation creates anxiety. And do you know what the brain does when it feels anxiety? It looks for an escape. This is why you procrastinate. You're not lazy, you're just intimidated by your own plan. You made the goal too big, so your brain is trying to protect you from the stress. Let's look at the biology for a second. Your brain learns best when it is in a state of high chemical receptivity. This happens when you are curious, when you feel safe, and when you are interested. Think about a child playing. They learn incredibly fast. Why? Because they are playing. They stop when they are tired. They move to something else. They don't force it. When you force a long session, you kill curiosity. Curiosity is a delicate flame. If you smother it with exhaustion, it goes out. When you lose curiosity, English becomes a chore. It becomes a job you hate. This brings me to a concept I call the next time effect. This is an idea that very few people talk about, but it is the secret to long-term success. The next time effect simply means this: how you feel at the end of your study session determines if you will come back tomorrow. This is profound. Think about it. If you study until you are totally exhausted, until your eyes hurt and your brain is foggy, what message are you sending to your nervous system? You're teaching your brain that English equals pain. You're teaching your brain that English equals exhaustion. So the next day, when you try to sit down, your brain screams, "No, don't do that. That hurt us yesterday." You feel resistance. You feel heavy. You need massive willpower just to open the book. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine you study for just 15 minutes. You are focused. You learn 5 new words. You understand 1 new concept. And then, while you still feel good, while you still have energy, you stop. You close the book. You walk away feeling smart. You walk away feeling capable. You say to yourself, "That was easy. I could have done more." What did you just teach your brain? You taught your brain that English is easy. You taught your brain that English makes me feel good. So tomorrow, when it's time to study, you don't feel resistance. You feel a little pull. You want to go back. You want that good feeling again. This is how you build an addiction to learning rather than a fear of learning. The myth of laziness versus strategy. I know what some of you are thinking. I can hear the objection. You're thinking, "But 15 minutes is too short. That is lazy. I want to reach fluency fast. I need to be a hero."
My friends, stopping early is not weakness. Stopping early is a strategy. It is a strategy to protect your energy for the long game. Language learning is not a sprint. It is a marathon that lasts for years. If you sprint the first mile and collapse, you lose the race. The person who walks steadily every single day will pass you while you are lying on the ground recovering. You need to trust the process of accumulation. The power of gaps. There is another scientific reason why short sessions work better. It is about gaps. Your brain does not learn while you are studying. This is a shock to many people. You consume information while you study, but you learn during the breaks. When you stop studying and go for a walk or wash the dishes or sleep, your brain goes to work in the background. It takes the new information and sorts it. It connects the new words to your long-term memory. It cleans up the mess. If you study for 4 hours straight, you give your brain no gaps. You just pile more and more information on top of a messy desk. Eventually, things fall off the edge. But if you study for 20 minutes and then stop, you give your brain a gap. You let it file that information away. Then the next day, you add a little more. This is sustainable. This is how deep memory is built. In fact, this approach is often cited as the best way to learn a language by polyglots because it mimics how we learn naturally, in small, frequent bursts, not in giant, artificial blocks of time. Practical application. How to do a short session. So, how do you actually execute this? How do you make a 15 or 20-minute session effective? The rule is focus. Because you only have 15 minutes, you cannot waste time. You cannot multitask. You cannot be watching TV and studying. You must be 100% present. You need to choose one single action. Example 1. The reader. Open your book. Read just one paragraph. Read it slowly. taste the words. Look at the grammar. Don't try to finish the chapter. Just try to deeply understand that one paragraph. When the timer hits 15 minutes, close the book. Even if you want to keep going, stop. Example 2. The listener. Listen to a short audio clip. Maybe it's just 2 minutes long. Listen to it 3 or 4 times. The first time, just get the gist. The second time, listen for specific words. The third time, try to shadow it. Repeat the words with the speaker. This deep focus is how you solve one of the biggest problems learners face: how to stop translating in your head. When you focus intensely on the sound and the rhythm for a short burst, you don't have time to translate. You start to feel the language directly. Example 3. The speaker. Talk to yourself for 10 minutes. Describe your room. Describe your day. Don't worry about mistakes. Just let the flow happen. Conclusion. Trusting the habit. When you do this every day, something magical happens. You stop asking, "Should I study today?" You just do it. It becomes like brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth. You don't need a motivational video to tell you to wash your face. You just do it because it is who you are. Short sessions build habits. Long sessions rely on motivation. And motivation is a feeling that comes and goes like the wind. You cannot build fluency on the wind. You must build it on the solid ground of habit. So here's my challenge to you. For the next week, ban yourself from long study sessions. I forbid you to study for more than 20 minutes at a time. Make it easy, make it light, and stop before you are tired. Watch how your relationship with English changes. Watch how the dread disappears and the joy returns. You don't need more time, my friends. You just need better timing. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this helps you take a deep breath and relax your approach to learning. If you found value in this video, please help me out by clicking that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more videos on how to learn English effectively and calmly, please subscribe to English Glow. I will see you in the next video. Keep taking small steps.